USAA knows dynamic duos can save the day, like superheroes and sidekicks or auto and home insurance. With USAA, you can bundle your auto and home and save up to 10%. Learn more and get a quote at usaa.com/bundle. Restrictions apply.
Whatever the occasion, effortless elegance is right this way. Because Hilton brings you new ways to stay courtesy of the Nomad London. And it doesn't stop at award-winning dining in a space draped in velvet and illuminated by vintage chandeliers. No, this day goes beyond with unparalleled personalized service and attentive hospitality. Oh, and did we mention the Nomad London can be booked using your Hilton Honors points at Hilton.com? Hilton, for this day.
This episode is brought to you by Indeed. When your computer breaks, you don't wait for it to magically start working again. You fix the problem. So why wait to hire the people your company desperately needs? Use Indeed's sponsored jobs to hire top talent fast. And even better, you only pay for results. There's no need to wait. Speed up your hiring with a $75 sponsored job credit at Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply.
From the Fifth Quarter Studios in Madison, Wisconsin, you're listening to Coach Unplugged. And now, your host, Steve Collins.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to Coach Unplugged. I'm so happy you decided to join us. Before we jump in, I don't do this every week, but I would love if you went over, left a review, left a comment. I listened to all of those. Give me some topics. Send over to Steve at teachhoops.com. What kind of topics do you want to hear? But before we jump into today's topic, I'd like to give a big shout out to our two sponsors. First of all, Dr. Dish, the number one shooting machine on the market. I've tried them all, and this is not only how innovative are, but the workouts and what I love about Dr. Dish is they give back to the community. If you follow them on Facebook, if you follow them on Twitter, they're always giving back to the basketball community. And you mentioned Coach Unplugged, they'll give you $450 off. Also, go over and check out teachhoops.com for coaches who want to get better. It is a one-stop shop for basketball coaches. It's resources, it's handouts, it's videos, it's one-on-one calls, it's office hours. It's a coach. It's a resource run by a coach for a coach. It's not an ex-coach, not someone that's been let go, not someone that's coaching part-time. This is what I do. And Teach Hoops helps me keep the bills on. It helps me put up these podcasts, 13 podcasts a week. Teach Hoops helps me be able to do that. And it's a roadmap for you to be successful. And let me help you in this great journey that we call coaching. But let's head off to the podcast. How are you?
Good. How are you doing?
I'm all right.
Good. So I tried to get with you more in the middle of the season. I was paying for the Teach Hoops with my booster club card, and I didn't know it stopped. So
okay.
When I was talking to Amy, she was like, "Oh, you're like 150th on the list if you're not a Teach Hoops member." And I was like, so I had to go to Booster Club and figure out what happened. But
okay. No worries.
We just had we had gone through just such a lull. I think we lost like 13 in a row. And they were all like 2-point games, 6-point games, it was just, and it was.
It's hard to keep morale up when that happens.
Right. And it was just to the point of like, all of us coaches, it was like an effort thing. We'd go through 6, 7, 8, 10-minute stretches of just, it looked like nobody gave a rip of what we were doing.
It's that mental. I know. And why do you think that was?
I don't know.
Young?
No, all seniors. And that's another question I'll have later, but 100% of my minutes this year were seniors. So
really?
it's yeah. And I mean, one of them's a good player going to Concordia, Wisconsin. So he's knows what's expected at the next level. And I got one talking to a couple schools in that conference as well. And it's just like, I've got some decent players, and it's just I don't know. But I think part of the problem was we had a rotation of like 7 at most, just based on what I had to give.
Yep. So there wasn't that you're going to take my spot or I want to play more.
I didn't have that threat of you're coming out, because they knew that we have to win games, and to win games, they've got to be in the game. So I think that's a part of it, but
Yeah, but the competitive part, if you're competitive, it's like
I know that was our coaching on our
and
like
how
the
was
bus rides
practice?
home. And
Was practice competitive? Was like, did you do competitive things in practice?
oh, that's all I do. I don't do a lot of 3-on-0, 5-on, like I don't, it's if we're doing small, like 3-on-3, 2-on-2, everything is loser runs. But I think part of the problem also was I only had 10 guys on my roster total, and 2 of them were sophomores that I just brought up with me because I think they showed a little bit of promise.
Right.
So they practiced with me but played on JV. So like they still really couldn't put up a fight with our better players. So it was as competitive as we can make it.
Yeah, and it sounds like my COVID year. It's like I was pulling bodies because I was like people were gone, and it was like
Yep.
and it was just so hard to get any flow going. It's
right. And then, my assistant coach always had to bring his shoes just in case, if one kid's sick. I only got 9. I can't do what I need to do, and I put him on defense at least just to get bodies out there.
and
But
if your number's been low before,
well, like my first year there, I only had one lower level team. I only had a JV2 because I only had at that time 3 sophomores in the whole, like only 3 sophomores were out on the team for the team. And this year I only had 1 quote unquote junior. So it was 7 seniors, 1 junior, and 2 sophomores at the varsity level. So, and then the lower levels, our numbers are okay, but talent isn't quite there. But it's just part of it is our school is drastically falling in enrollment.
and where are they going?
I do not know. I'm at Cut A, so it's like some kids actually technically I think live in St. Francis, but it's just how the lines are drawn or whatever. So, but I think part of the problem is it's a community that a lot of people are not moving into. And then the people who do live there, from what I've been told, the people who do live there, they're kind of my generation ish. They don't have kids there, or they don't want to, or whatever. So, yeah, that's a problem. I couldn't get them out of that funk, and I tried everything. I tried to have a come to Jesus meeting. I tried doing fun things. I tried being super serious. I tried film more often. I tried film less. Us coaches couldn't think of anything else of what we could have done or could
And do you
do.
do you see it getting better?
Well, I think part of the problem, and it sucks to say, is I think that group had bad habits before I got there.
Okay.
Because this past season was only my second year there. So I think by that time they're juniors, they've got the bad habits kind of already built in.
So it takes 2 or 3 years at least to build. I know.
So when the going gets tough, they lean back onto their bad habits. And so I think the benefit is I can get into these younger guys early. And hopefully break some bad habits early and get them doing it our way with no exceptions. But
and what's your off season look like?
Well, we'll start open gyms here probably in the next week or 2. And we'll obviously attack.
Nice. Yeah.
And we'll attack our contact days. We'll be at a summer league. I'm gonna try to get into a fall league. We were playing at a fall league in Mequon the last couple of years with some really good teams. It was good competition for us. But this year, this next group I have won't. It'll be brutal for them to go into that league,
right,
and play against them. So
you need to just get them together, maybe doing stuff together.
Yep.
Okay, this is gonna be weird, but have you thought of moving? It's a
like
weird thing to say. Like,
no, not like moving is for my wife's job, but I that was part of kind of what I want to talk to you about today too, is I am starting to kind of, and my AD knows too, and he's actually leaving. He's going out to Wanakee out by you actually.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yep.
Yeah. So
that'll be a different gig for him.
Oh, it sure will be. But there, Wanakee's getting he's good.
He's good. It's a whole different world in Wanakee though. Like,
Oh, I can only imagine.
yeah,
I can only imagine.
they need to be in the Big Eight. They need to be in our league at some point. That's part of the
I,
problem.
I always thought they were until I got into this kind of role, and I was like, that doesn't make much sense.
It
But
doesn't. They're the big fish in the small pond. That's
yeah,
the,
yep.
yeah.
But no, I was gonna do it hush hush, and then he sent out like, hey, it's gonna come out, so I want you guys all to know I'm moving on. And then I kind of was like, hey, because like Oak Creek is open, and that's obviously a really big school, and a big job, and then Catholic Memorial, so it's at least kind of interested and putting my feelers out there and seeing if something else comes up. But I'd like to, because I actually don't live that close to Cudahy, so I'd
Right.
like to get something closer to me.
And it's easier to get a job when you have a job.
Right.
Like, you've got experience. Like, if I'm going to hire, it's a lot, look at what's happening in the NCAA right now. It's like,
yeah,
that's the way you got to look at it. It's like,
yeah, and
do those other ones have better youth how's your youth? That's the kicker.
Bad.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's out of the fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, was that five levels? There's 3 that have a full team. I think the 3rd grade might have 2 teams, or 4th might have 2 teams, but it's just, yeah, and then a lot of kids don't even play in that league. They do the middle school instead, and then those coaches aren't great. It's just, it wasn't.
Sometimes it's just a
and
change of scenery too. That's what I tell coaches. It's just like, all right, it's just maybe someone else, but it's like, yeah.
So it's just now it's hoping something opens up and at least I know the Oak Creek was, I've already applied to Oak Creek and Catholic Memorial, so those are just kind of getting to the point where it's deciding on who they're going to call in the interview and this, that, and the third, and
right.
Whatever. But it's funny, I'm nervous. I think I have to go. He won't come out and straight up say it, but I think I'm going to be battling for the Oak Creek job with Showalter.
The Oak Creek one?
I think so.
He's gonna leave. He's at Dominican, right? No.
Yeah.
Why would he leave Dominican?
The only thing I can think of is it's 2,200 kids go to Oak Creek, so you just got
more
pick of the litter, and it's a good youth program, and I don't think there really is one at Dominican.
Yeah.
I didn't think there was a shot in hell that he would, so I asked him for a letter of recommendation, and he wrote me one, and I said it was for the Oak Creek job. But then I kind of just straight up asked him, and he was like, well, I've never actually applied for a job. And I was like, all right, smart ass.
Yeah, ain't that sounds like Showalter. That sounds like
and then I kind of said, well, okay, well, do I have to prepare for an interview against you? And he stopped responding. So I don't know if I'm going to be having to put my chops up against him for it, but
yeah, you never know though. You never know what the committee or yeah. Wide net is what I would say. Wide net.
Yeah.
And
there's just nothing. Those are really the only 2 even in a range of where I live that are open right now.
Right. Yeah. Things change.
Yeah. I'm obviously knocking on all the wood. I want to get back to Germantown. That's where I want to go back to where I was. I still have people in the community who want me there. It's waiting on either that guy to leave or them to kind of tell me to kick rocks, which I don't want to take food out of anybody's mouth, but getting back to where I want to be is obviously.
They will. Yeah. I hear you.
Yeah. And lack of experience is the reason I didn't get it in the first place.
Right. So now you have head coaching experience on your resume, which is right. That's what I tell people: take a job just to get a job.
Right. Yeah. And I was just upset because at Germantown I was the head varsity assistant, and the guy who was there left like in August of that summer. He left late on purpose. He was like, "Hey, I'm leaving, and I'm leaving late, so hopefully all the good candidates are gone, and they'll kind of just give it to you because you've been here for 4 or 5 years and you're an alumni and blah blah." And I didn't even get an interview. So that stung obviously me and a lot of people.
He wouldn't go back. Schwalzer wouldn't go back to.
Oh, I don't think he'd be allowed back. I don't think he never got along with any administration. And administrate. They obviously kept up with him because he was winning.
Right.
Yeah. And then he's got all of his obviously all the extra curricular stuff outside of it that
Right.
I don't think the community would allow him back either. But
Yeah.
no, it's just yeah. So I didn't know if I asked Amy. I didn't know if you wanted if
If
I
you
could shoot over my portfolio and have you take
yes,
a look
shoot
at
over
it.
your portfolio, shoot over
Yeah.
your resume, and I'll take a look at it.
Okay.
Yeah. There's some stuff in there like interview questions and stuff in Teach Hoops too. It's like
Yeah,
there's a
and
whole kind of
I've been glancing at that, and
yeah, that stuff's good.
I
But let me
honestly use it. I use it for my first one too. Some of those questions to prepare for and to go off
it's
of.
probably more than any human being would ever ask, to be honest with you. But
Yeah, but you
yeah,
just never know which
you
ones they will
never
ask.
know. And the
Right.
thing is, it's weird. I tell coaches now that too, it's like it's weird because some of them have moved to, and this will be easy for you because you've done it. The doing like a practice or
Yep.
they'll put a whiteboard in the interview and ask you to. So for youngsters, I always say that's a practice that like, hey,
Yeah.
how do you break down a man whatever. But you've done
Hmm.
this long, and yeah, that's not an issue. But for yeah,
Right.
it's that's one thing I've noticed that people have said have changed some. It's I don't know.
Yeah, I didn't have that in my first one, but I think it was kind of it's a kind of at the time, and it probably still will be as somebody's first job. So I think they were
Right.
just kind of more or less seeing, is this person
Capable.
willing to deal with the bumps, deal with the bruises? Whereas
Right.
the next one, yeah, it could be, all right, break X and O's down,
Would
or
any of your assistants take your job?
no, no. My lead assistant is my father-in-law.
Okay.
And when I was at Germantown, I was the JV coach. We needed a freshman coach, and we asked him. He was like, "Nope, I've done the head coaching thing. I'm over. I'm just along for the ride." And then my other assistant has only been coaching for a year, and he has too much of a busy job to even
Job.
consider it.
Consider it.
But no, it'll be a young guy from Greendale or Greenfield, like an assistant that just wants a shot like I did
Right. And that'll be a
early
good
on.
step
So
for them.
yep,
Yeah, no, if
yep,
you shoot it over, I'll take a look. I can deep dive into it.
okay.
And then as far as your like yeah, that's a tough call. Like when they hopefully your juniors and sophomores got a little bit more dog in them. That's the
Well, like I
issue.
said, I've only got one junior who's going to be a senior, and luckily he's a football player, so
Okay,
he
so
does
that's good.
have that. Yeah, and he's crazy athletic. Just he's a football player who's playing basketball.
Right.
But no, next year will probably mostly be um, obviously they're freshmen now, but it'll be sophomores. Will probably take up most of my varsity. Um, so
Yeah.
it's one of
It's
those things. It's
setting the
like you're
bar
gonna
like this is the here's what I tell it's like and I can tell you coming out of COVID it was like we had a reset in our program. It was
yeah,
crazy. And it's
yep,
like here's what you do, here's what you don't do. I'm going to draw
yep,
the line in the sand. Boom. If you ain't going to like poof. It's
yep,
like and I mean, I think we're just turning the corner back to where we were pre-COVID and it's like cuz they don't know. Like
no,
they don't know. Like this is you've been in a
yep,
winning pro. This is what it takes to win, and this
right,
ain't gonna win. Like
no,
I tell them, I
and
said,
that's
yeah, you can also it'll be the also rans. You can be in the also rans if you want, but you're gonna be, I tell them my mom who's 85 could coach this team and be 13-10. That
yeah,
don't matter. Like, do you want to be good or you want to be okay? Like,
yep. And
uh,
that's obviously the messages we give them on it, but it's just I just think they had that they just didn't have a threat. That's what I think it really comes down to. They didn't have a threat of that leash. Like they know
right.
if I do take them out, it's gonna be for a minute and a half because it's
Half.
like then we're gonna go down on a 8-0 run, and we're over. So
Right.
um but I think part of it is just the morale because we started the year 5-2. Um, took Thomas More down to I think we lost by 6. We were up 14 at half. We were up 13 against Greenfield at half. Ended up losing by 1. Um, so we just had some really good games, and we almost beat Whitnall. We were up by Whitnall, up on Whitnall by 8 at half the first time we played them, and then just ran into some these competitive issues, and then it was just like morale was just bad, 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 and couldn't get
Yeah.
them out of whatever funk they were in.
And do you have a timeline for the jobs you applied for? Do you think?
Um,
Does it say anything in the
oh,
postings?
not in the postings. They all say like until filled. But the Oak Creek AD did reach out and say he was going to kind of keep them open till the end of March and then start looking through and start planning for interviews early April. So I'm guessing
Okay.
next couple of
Yeah.
days.
So if you send it off to me, I'll give it a look in the next day or so. Then
Okay.
I'll fast track it.
Okay.
And see what I see. And like,
Yeah.
you want that to be, yeah. And have you followed up with either one of them?
I just followed up with Catholic Memorial today because some schools they don't have their you go and like click email and it just like gives you one of them blank forms like name and like so I sent that to the AD, but I don't know if it actually got there.
Yeah, I'd write a letter. I'd
Okay.
go old school. Like, hey,
I do that after.
I
And
do
I
it
did
like
that
I'm super
after
excited
Cudahy.
about this. I'd love to interview because you gotta sell you gotta like I just gotta get in the room.
Right.
That was always my theories. If I get in the room, I can get the job.
Yeah, and that's why
Um,
it's funny my father-in-law has been more excited about the potential of the Oak Creek job.
right. So
He's
I
like, I've
would
been
literally
watching
get
film and this.
I'd get some little notes, I'd write it, and he'll get it and like drop it in the mail. It's like
Yeah,
go old school. It's like, hey, I applied. I'm super excited about the possibility. I look forward to an interview, blah, 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 blah.
yeah. And I reached out to the principal right away because I went to high school with her kids.
Okay.
Josh Mongan's mom
Yep.
is the principal there, so I was like, I've known her since I was 10. I shot her an email just saying, hey, I'm going to apply, and then shot the AD an email. But yeah,
Go old
I'll
school
shoot some.
because that
Yeah,
will make you stand out. And it's like, oh,
yeah,
who's this?
yeah,
That's how I always tell coaches. Obviously, you do a follow up after the interview and stuff if you get
yeah,
one, but the precursor is always good because it's like no one goes old school anymore.
yep.
Um,
Yeah, and
uh,
I don't think they. I one of my players was on the committee when I interviewed at Cudahy, and he didn't say anything. Like he just said, like in the interview, he was like, "We knew you had it,"
right.
but I did send a handwritten letter after, so I don't know if that was the kicker on getting it or not. But I just felt like that was kind of that extra above and beyond.
Yeah,
But
it
I've
is.
never thought to do it beforehand. So
I'm serious about this job. Like I want
right,
this job.
yep, yep,
uh because there's going to be probably a, a lot of I don't know if you get northern Wisconsin guys applying for that job, but you get everyone in that area like, ooh, I think I can do that.
right,
um
right,
so it might make you stand out a little bit.
yeah,
But yeah, if you shoot that over, I'll take a look at it, and then we can even get on a call later in the week. I'm opening up again.
okay.
You and I can get on a call and let me look at it, and then maybe Thursday or Friday this week we could get on a call, and unless you had other stuff you wanted to talk about.
The only thing I had was I don't know if you I talked I think the last time I talked briefly about my zone. So I run a this last year we just because my numbers were so small I got 7,
Yeah.
and we're foul happy. So I don't know if you're familiar with it, but the Merrimack 2-3 zone.
Mm-mm.
So they're a school out in Jersey. They were D2 for a long time, or D1. They actually won the NEC. They beat Farley Dickinson in their
Okay.
championship, but they have that NCAA rule they couldn't compete because of the jump. But they run like a super aggressive 2-3. Like the wing guys are up on the 3-point line.
Really?
Yeah,
It's almost
and
like
we
a
ran it.
matchup.
I mean, it looks like it, but you don't obviously nobody's matching up with anybody. But the goal is to take away threes. Like it's everyone thinks, oh, 2-3, we can shoot all day.
Right.
But our goal is to take away threes, get them. I preferred penetration, because then they're doing something they're not used to. They don't practice 2 dribble floaters with a guy sprinting at them
Right.
very often in a zone or
Do
guys.
you get the problem with the drop off inside?
We did in the beginning because this was our first year of fully running it. We ran it a lot last year, but kind of in and out. But this year I did nothing but this. So ran into it early, but I actually have an assistant coach kind of on speed dial out in Merrimack, so I can kind of call him and text him and ask him what they do. But it's just we eventually got the rotations down, and it looks good. More or less, my question is with a younger group that's going to struggle, we're not going to be big at all. Is that something that?
Yes, I'd stay with that, but I'd teach a man too. I would.
Yeah, and I think that was one thing I didn't do enough, was because we'd get down 6 and without a stupid shot clock in the state, it was a lot of stall, and then it was
you got to be able to match up.
Yeah.
So with the youngsters, I'd love to learn more about that. If you got stuff on that, I'd love to learn more about that.
Yeah.
I'd love anything.
Yeah, I've got I love it, and I'm full on for it. But I do see at our point where we don't have a shot clock where it can get
what
bad.
do they call it?
I don't know what they call it their 2-3 zone. They got it off of, his name is Joe Gallo. Gallo. He's got I think he's got a Championship Productions video, but I heard him on a podcast.
I'll see what I can.
I heard him on a podcast, and I started listening to it, and because I had a player last year, my best player had 4 fouls in the first half. He got his 3rd technical on it, and it was against Milwaukee Lutheran. And like, we ended up winning, but we had to go zone. Like, I'm like, I can't play man with 4 fouls with him, and we were short staffed. So
I bet no one sees that either.
No one sees it. I got so many messages from coaches we play like after, like, you were incredibly hard to prepare for. It's because it's not.
I'd love to sit and talk about this. You got stuff you can, like, send me what you got, and then we'll get back together. I'd love.
I actually don't have a ton. Like, I have some stuff written down about it and some PDFs, but I don't have a ton. It's just more or less things, and I do have to get it written down and this and that, but it's just a lot of things.
And they don't have. What do they say out in Merrimack? What does he say? Did they give you rules?
It's not a lot of. It's again. I've gotten a lot of podcasts, and I talked to this guy. Their thing is that just no threes. Like, they want you to put the ball on the floor. They know the ball is going to get inside, but they work on, like, 80% of what they work on are their rotations and their drops. So it's a lot of, like, and again, what we do is ball gets into the high post. In a typical 2-3, those guards are kind of digging, poking at it. Whereas our guards go to what we call the prediction zones, which is a box outside of the lane by the 3-point line. Because that's where the pass, they want to make the pass. They want to catch, skip opposite immediately. But if you go to that spot where you know he's going to pass, we get a lot of deflections, a lot of steals. And our goalie, the guy we call him in the middle, he attacks any penetration, any ball in the middle, and then the wings drop to the blocks.
So you got to have a pretty athletic kid in the middle of the 2-3.
Yeah. Either athletic or crazy long. Which I didn't really have either, but we didn't. The good thing about it is players, they don't usually put their best player in the middle, because they usually put a guy who's tall, can get a decent shot. They don't maybe want to shoot the mid range, but he's okay passer. So that doesn't really hurt us. And then you can obviously choose to trap short corner, not trap short corner. That backside guy drops on any of the dump offs you were talking about. So they really can't get inside the lane on a drop off if we're doing it right.
Right. I'd love to see some stuff on this. Yeah. It's
just nothing that because everybody sees 2-3, they think of the 3 on the bottom, the 2 on the top. Whereas we're almost, like, I tell our kids, the lineup is a 2-2-1. That's how it's drawn up, but the wings are so wide. They're like volleyball line and 3-point line, like that cross point. Like, that's where they are. So it's just a quick step up, take away 3 until the guard can get over there, and then you drop back.
The only thing I worry about in our league is we got guys that can go around and make that play. They can once they turn the corner.
But that's the thing is again, it's what Merrimack teaches too, is that's what we prefer.
You want them doing that.
We want them dribbling in because our goalie attacks hard.
Goalie's the middle guy.
But how many teams, like, when you're practicing your zone, do you practice? Because I know I didn't before I started running it. Like, when you're practicing your zone offense, you don't practice the guy dribbling in to a guy attacking him, to guys dropping down, to guys, like, they don't practice a 2 dribble pull up against zone. They don't practice very many floaters against zone. And then the shots they're getting, that's what Merrimack says, the shots they are getting, if they are getting threes, they're not what they're typically used to running. What does everyone run 85% of your practice? Your man offense.
Right.
You get your shots out of your man offense. So you're not practicing your shots out of your zone offense. So it's just
is it hard to convert? Is it hard to convert to it defensively? Like in transition?
No. We tried to get to a point where we called it junk, but we're like we did it incorrectly the game we tried it, but we went into 11 on, which is our man-to-man. We went to 11 on misses and our 23, which is our 2-3 on makes. But we were having a problem on misses. It's all combobulated. It's and they couldn't match up. Whereas we were like, we've been running back in a transition on our 2-3 all year. Yeah. It should have been flipped. But no, it's the guys know which we don't tell them which sides they're on, but they just they get used to a side and they run back to whatever side they're supposed to be on. The goalie knows.
You got a game you ran this? You got to have a game.
I ran it all year.
A game. Send me a game. I'd love to look at a game that you think you ran it well, because I'm going to send it to my.
Yeah, I mean, we actually had Coach Cassidy. I don't know if you know him. He's head coach in Concordia, Wisconsin. He came to us against Whitnall, and he stopped me in the locker room. He came for a player, but he stopped me after the game, and he chatted me for like 15 minutes about it, because he was like, "We're going to try to run some zone. Like, what are you doing this and that?"
And do you have a set of rules? Do you have a set of rules you use?
I have some stuff written down I can shoot to you.
Shoot that. Shoot what you have, and we'll get together and talk, because I want to.
Okay.
That intrigues me. Very rarely do I get like something I haven't heard of. I mean,
and it's to the point. And it's like I said, I like it, but I know it's not coming in the near future. But when it eventually comes, the shot clock, like, I will never play man.
No one's going to play man. Everyone's going to do the exact same thing. That's
it's just
that's the only reason I have a shot clock. It's like everyone's going to full court pressure, like a 2-2-1. Right. They're going to try to take time off the clock. I know. And it's like, this is the only way teams beat us is it was just pass around 15, 20, 30, 40 seconds. And then it's like, our guys are a little gassed. You find a weak spot because they're getting a little lazy. But if they only had 25 to 30
seconds they're going to throw up a crap shot. Merrimack leads the country in shot clock violations every year. And all
right,
they only allow 15.8 3-point.
I know what I'm going to watch when I watch.
Game.
I know what I'm going to watch when I do the game, when I watch the game tonight. So I'll do this. So shoot me that stuff.
Yep.
And I will look at it.
I'll shoot your portfolio, the 2-3 stuff.
And then look for this stuff, and then let's plan at the end of the week. We'll get on a call on the week. I'll make sure he gets on the schedule. Okay. Awesome. See ya. Bye.
I appreciate it, Coach.
Yep. Bye. Hey, everybody. I hope you enjoyed the podcast. Make sure you subscribe, like, jump up and down, like I say. Tell your friends. That would be a good thing. Yeah. Share this on social media. And then also go over and check out teachhoops.com for coaches who want to get better. Have a great day.
This podcast is part of the Sports Social Podcast Network.
Memorial Day doorbuster deals are here at Lowe's. Right now, Rewards members save $80 on the Master Forge 4-burner gas grill, now just $149. Plus, Rewards members save $900 on the Lowe's exclusive Hisense French door refrigerator, now only $999. Lowe's, we help, you save. Valid through 5/26. Selection varies by location. While supplies last. See Lowes.com for more details. Program subject to terms and conditions. Details at Lowes.com/terms. Subject to change.